rolling in. Episode 15.
Diving.
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving.
Yes, sir. 'Tis the season for the treason. Pep Corsiola on the touchline for some time, man. We've been sublime, man. It's crunch time. Sir Solomon, how you feeling?
Good.
Ready to roll. All right. Got big games everywhere. England, Spain, Germany, and even fucking France. Champs League roundup, EPL review, an in-depth look at Burnley currently sitting 7th in the EPL table. As always, Deep OG awards, an ode to Messi's new contract, and a next week rundown. Hit us on Twitter at Diving for Glory. We drop every Tuesday on iTunes and divingforglory.com. Alright, jerseys tucked, boots lace, and Eva Canero on standby to play doctor. Deep OG, let's go. Alright, man, back for man, big games all around. Biggest game in EPL this week was Liverpool hosting Chelsea at Anfield. 1-1 draw. Tell us about that, Sir Solomon.
It wasn't what you'd all the way call a bold draw, but Chelsea set up in a very unsurprising away game Conte formation. It was a 3-5-1-1, narrow, and when Klopp said they played with 8 defenders, it was more like 7, but you got the point. He had Cahill, Christensen, Azpilicueta, Zappa Costa, Drinkwater, Kante, Bakayoko, and Alonso. These are all primarily defensively duty people. No?
Yep, absolutely.
But that is not to say that this is not an effective way of playing a away game at Anfield. Although Liverpool should have been the team that went after it, they also were, even though you look at the 4-3-3 and you think, oh, nice, they played a little more conservative too. They had both Milner and Henderson in the midfield. And
yep, even Ox started as well.
yeah,
For a rare start.
Him, I didn't understand. I have a major issue with that because even though he didn't have a bad game, Sadio Mane and Firmino didn't even get off the bench. Sadio Mane kind of got off the bench to talk.
But that was clear.
To go on the field long enough to have one argument with the coach.
In my opinion, and see what you think, I felt like that was clear intent that, that Klopp was going to play a little bit more defensive as well. And
That's what I'm saying. I was surprised because Conte's didn't surprise me when he put out that team because it's an away game. He benched Fabregas. He plays a defensively solid team. Bakayoko was a little all over the place, but they covered for it,
So and in my opinion, man, again, you tell me, like, I actually felt like this is one of the better defensive displays I saw from Liverpool all year.
It
was solid.
It is, but it's either I would have taken more risk, not all the way, but bring on Mane up front because they had him on the ropes. And Mo Salah, as great as he is, he's a winger that scores. He's not a striker. So when you don't have Bobby Firmino either, now 2 of your 3 best scorers on the team are on the bench for maybe the biggest game of the season so far.
Yeah.
That's the part that I was like, why is Ox there? Daniel Sturridge, like, why don't you play him against West Brom or some shit, man? This is not the game to bring the dude in.
But I'm gonna suggest that, this being a 1-1 draw, this is gonna be a better result for Liverpool. Considering
1-1, if that's what a great result.
I didn't say great.
Okay, what
a better result than for Chelsea. Chelsea felt like they should have won that game. Liverpool's like, we'll take that point.
I disagree. Liverpool should have had the 3 points. Chelsea just wouldn't go away, so eventually they scored the goal. But Liverpool had Mo Salah had ample opportunity.
As usual.
Yes, as usual. He scored one of it.
Yep.
But he had 7 shots, 2 on target, 2 key passes to other people. Basically, he had 2 opportunities to make assists too.
Okay.
And they just if they had one more guy up there with him that's been on the level that he has this far this season, like I said, Sadio Mane or Firmino, I think they could have put it away early and then pulled Sadio Mane. So that's what you want to do.
So another tactical mistake by Klopp, in your opinion. This should have been a win. This should have been 3 points against the defending champion.
I don't think it's a tactical mistake. I think he made the decision to go with this, but after the game started and watching parts of it, I thought they should have had 3 points out of this game. The way there were points in the game where they were just running kind of rampant on.
Yeah, they are. I mean, in all fairness, they were an amazing Willian goal away from taking all 3.
In the 85th minute?
Yeah, amazing. Whether or not he meant to do it.
That's another subject for another day, but if you're in the lead 1-0 in the 85th minute and you go away with 1 point, I can't see how you're the happier of the two teams.
Yeah, I mean, considering that, but I think walking into the game would have been. Yeah, no, I agree. Most people.
If you're telling me
if you want to,
if
you want to be a club of ambition, yes, you want to say 3 points. But if you're Liverpool and you're realistic, you'll take that point. I don't think they're on Chelsea's level.
I think, and when we get to our little EPL section later, we'll talk about it. I think that these two teams are very close to each other right now.
Well, they are. And with
all
that,
at home you should both teams, I think, should expect wins at home and ties away. That's what success would be considered. So I think Chelsea is in the front seat of this matchup because they won away. I mean, they tied away and they have the Stamford Bridge leg to play.
Okay. With all that being said, definitely ramifications as far as the table. Chelsea sit 11 points back in 3rd place, and Poole is only 3 points back of them in 6th place. Chelsea has, I just want to mention this because I find it interesting, they have about 8 games versus low to mid-table teams. Certainly look potent there for them to run off a nice win streak, which would be very needed. Poole has about 5 or 6 of the same games until they play Arsenal Christmas weekend. So we've already discussed who you thought that was the better point for. Also, who do you think was man of the match?
Eden Hazard.
He balled out, man. He's been on fire recently.
Completely unplayable, and he's the reason. Like, they set up with 8 defenders, Morata, who was, I don't know, and Hazard, who basically played Allen Iverson football for 90 minutes and just balled out. Dude had 10. He had 10 dribbles.
I was wondering I'm glad you said that because I remember watching, because you always give that stat. And I was watching him work out on the wing one time, and I was like, dude, that was like 4 dribbles. Does that count? Like, does each of those count as a full dribble?
Dude, they fouled him 3 times. Like, the only shot he took was on target, but that wasn't the objective of what he was doing. He was just holding off Liverpool for them while Chelsea rearranged their defense, and he managed to do that spectacular. Eden Hazard is the only reason that game was not done. And Willian came and picked up that rebound. Big up.
Yeah, I got Willian because I love the moment, and that's just it's a gorgeous goal, and like he was a sub, man, super sub. Always love a super sub.
Can't disagree, but I think the game would have been done if what's the name wasn't on the field. Then Hazard wasn't on the field the whole game.
For sure. All right, so we're gonna move on to Spain. There was a pretty big Spain. There's a pretty big matchup there. First place versus second place, and that is not the Clásico this time. That is first place Barcelona away to Valencia, which also ended in a 1-1 draw. Tell us about it, Sir Solomon.
There's 2 Spanish teams that are supposed to be at the top of the Spanish league. You watch old school English 4-4-2. They both played fucking 4-4-2. Simplistic football, fucking assholes.
Yeah.
But the Valencia version of 4-4-2 looks like it's made for the team, whereas Barca's, it just seems like the guy just puts a bunch of people. Like, he's got Iniesta and Rakitic playing outside, closer to the wing, because they don't have any true wingers. Yeah. And both Iniesta and Rakitic had a fucking shit game. Like, they're guys that are effective if you play a compact system, like a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. Like, the way 4-4-2 is spread out in Barca, Luis Suarez is suffering because Messi being like the other striker they don't have enough movement. When there was the 4-3-3, Messi and Neymar would run in different directions, and Suarez would have so many opportunities. Now he's easier to mark down for the central defenders because there's nobody pulling them away because it's only Messi, and whenever he needs the ball, he goes deeper.
So let me ask you this then. From a formation standpoint, obviously not having Dembele to play the left where Neymar will play, he doesn't run the three up front, like, and with purpose, because you figure, like, well, what the fuck does Deo Lefeu offer? He can't. Nobody. If you run three men up top, my point is that third person is basically nullified.
Yeah, but it's not either 4-4-2 or play three man up front. You could even play like a 4-2-3-1 with just one striker, but more running behind him with three guys doing different. Like, they don't have any. Okay, you're going to play a 4-4-2? Then show me two wingers. You need that for a 4-4-2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, in the middle of your park in a 4-4-2 is Paulinho and Sergio Busquets.
So you don't consider the wingers, would that be Alba and Semedo?
They were not playing as wingers. They were playing as the left back and the right back.
The right back. Okay.
In a 4-4-2, in front of them, you have a left winger and a right winger.
Oh, that's right.
And that is the positions kind of that Iniesta and Rakitic were occupying.
Rakitic had. That's right. Okay. Yep. So no. You would have preferred to have Alba coming right on the wings, Alba and Semedo as the overlappers.
Yes. So the issue with this, I'm exaggerating it a little bit because Barca did also dominate possession, but when you look at the midfield two of Valencia, which is Parejo and Jeffrey Kondogbia, and their who scored rating is pretty much identical to Paulinho and Busquets, that's advantage Valencia.
Yeah.
Like, Barcelona should be dominating the midfield, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He should be. It hasn't been a lot of that this year. So the first half ended goalless, but it probably shouldn't have, right?
I mean, it didn't end goalless. It ended scoreless.
It was a goal. It was definitely a goal. But
just didn't count towards the score.
That was pretty bad. That was a pretty bad miss by the ref.
Yes, it's been a
like
long...
it fucking bounced a clear 7 inches past the line.
Yes, Pedro Mendes' goal for Tottenham against Manchester United, I think in 03 or 04, was the last time I've seen something this egregiously over the line get not acknowledged at all. Yeah. There was a gif of the fourth official wearing a Madrid jersey.
Oh, man,
Vermaelen played 90 minutes.
Did he?
Start to finish.
Start to finish, man. This is where we've come.
He got a 6.72.
So, second half, though, opened up that scoring, Rodrigo. That was a nice little exchange that built up to that goal, though.
That left side of Gaia, the left back, and Guedes in front of him. Gaia had the beautiful assist on the goal. But, like, the two of them, Rakitic and Semedo got subbed up on that side. Mm-hmm. If you understand how much
that's how they were getting worked. Yep. That
kind of it should have been a 2-1 Barca, but what are you gonna do? Valencia, if anybody deserved to get a point out of it, it was them. You know?
So an Alba with the answer in like the 81st minute or something. It was a gorgeous answer.
The Messi play and then the assist. Then Alba just launched himself into it. Like, that was spectacular.
I mean, that's what you love. That's what you watch Barca for. And too bad those moments are far and few in between. But boy, Messi put that on the money.
No, I'm pissed off. We neglected it for goal of the week.
It's true.
Contender.
Yeah. All right. So basically, that means that both Madrids made up points. Barca's still top of the table, but they dropped 2 points to both Madrids. They're up 8 points on both Madrids, and they're up 4 on second place Valencia. Man of the match. I think this is obvious.
The referee?
That's who I got on my favorites.
Oh, shit. Okay, Messi.
That's the other one I have. I swear to God, this is it, man. It's Messi or the referee is what I have written. There it is.
Side note, though, Barca has been in turmoil, yet on top of the league for a while, and this is one of the most confusing Barcelona seasons I've ever watched.
Undefeated in all competitions if you don't count the King's Cup or whatever the hell that
They
is.
have, what, 2 ties, and one of them is a goalless tie?
Yep. It's like anyway. So, we're going to move on. Another 1 versus 2 match in Ligue 1. Monaco at home against PSG. PSG, unsurprisingly, came away with this victory 2-1. Tell us about it.
Monaco is no longer in second place after that.
They are not. At the time, though, it was.
So, PSG have played 14 games in the league. They have 12 wins, 2 draws, and 0 losses. They are already 9 points above Lyon and Monaco. So, Monaco comes out with a 4-1-2-1-2 formation. I'm really trying to make it seem like they were kind of in it.
But they weren't.
Because it's a tax haven, and one day, you might end up there. Just to not pay taxes on your maxima. So Monaco had Falcao and Keita in front of Moutinho as the front three, and behind them in the midfield they had Tielemans, Fabinho, and Jorge or George, I don't know. But Tielemans and Fabinho, in any other game that we'd be talking about, them two in the middle, I'd be very hyped about, because these two are going to be on the market again pretty fucking soon.
Yep.
Even when everybody's trying to buy Mbappe and all those cats, Fabinho was the guy that everybody was surprised never went anywhere. Tielemans is wicked, but not today.
Yep.
Not today.
Not that.
Today we're here to talk about Neymar, Cavani, Mbappe.
This game probably could have been 5-1.
Yes. You know you're getting worked when out of their front 6, the worst performing player on the game was Verratti.
Yep. Terrible game.
He got a 6.1. He had a terrible game. He's been off since he went to the Italian team to fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Like they really tried hard to keep him away from Barca and stuff. I don't know even if Barca comes back for him. And like this guy is like having a bad season in the midst of everybody else on that team having an amazing season. Amazing season,
yeah. Yeah, so Cavani with the opener, Neymar with the follow-up. I just like to mention, dude, Cavani at this point, I think we've all, been on notice. 24 goals in all competitions in 25 games. 16 league goals, man. He's been balling out.
Cavani's like, in an age where the true number 9 is rarer and rarer every season, guys like Cavani and Lewandowski are the last of a dying breed. Amazing player.
Yeah. His goal was love too, man. Really nice flick. Caught it from across.
He's nice. You know what I was thinking? Side note. Everybody was so concerned with Neymar being like the next Messi or taking over from Messi. And have you noticed ever since he went to PSG that he's very much more like the next Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Doesn't like to practice defense, pitches a lot. He's fighting over penalty kicks.
Sulking, crying in press conferences.
He has been an absolute cunt since he went there.
It's like he let loose his inner
balling ass cunt. He can play.
He let loose his inner cuntedness. PSG go 9 points clear of Lyon and Monaco, like you said, and 10 of Marseille. Neymar, man of the match.
Yep, 3 shots, 1 on target, 1 time hit the crossbar, but it still took a penalty for him to score.
Yep,
a penalty that Cavani didn't beat him up over. He had 5 key passes, 8 dribbles won, 6 times fouled.
Yeah.
Which is like how they say good morning in the French league.
Yeah, he's taking plenty fouls.
9.56.
I just wanted to bring up also a Troy Deeney nominee from this game, Marquinhos. Just the fact that you would even say, dude, you didn't hear about this, man? You said Draxler is technically the best player he's seen out of Neymar, Ronaldo, and Messi.
Absurd statement, but Draxler had a fucking nice game.
Hey, that dude is nice.
I like Draxler, but that's
I like
a
Draxler too.
Statement.
But
and
hold
Marquinhos, you need to work on your defense because you fucked up.
Yeah, you had a bad game. In the bad games, man. Wrong one to be talking that shit after.
You know, keep having those games, and you'll be working in a studio talking about him soon.
Hey, you're welcome on Diving for Glory, homie. Come through.
Marquinhos,
we got a slap for you.
but only for a segment, dude.
Only for a segment, yeah, for real. You can announce our twat happened moment.
Like, what happened this week?
All right, man. I think the funnest game of the weekend, man, because it's just total capitulation and awesomeness all at once. Schalke at home versus Dortmund, who's just been in a fucking tailspin over the last month and a half. Dortmund goes to the half 4-0. Ends the game 4-4. Tell us a little bit about this.
If you're looking to I'm sorry. I don't believe in the purchase of people. But if you're looking to hire a manager for your team, the first order of business is just like, look at a lot of tape, and your study should concern more than just a final and a semi-final. Peter Bosz took Ajax to the Europa League final, so Dortmund hired him. Never mind that the Ajax team he had lost to a shit Feyenoord team in the league and knew how to play zero defense and was exposed by a Manchester United team that wasn't that great in the final. They hired him and they were like, okay, go. Ever since then, the defenders have been so fucked.
Dude, the defending was comical in the second half.
They came in with 1 win in the last 9.
Wow.
You don't get that with playing non-comical defense.
Dude, it was really bad, dude. Like, I like the first goal. Like, you could say the goalie was a little bit off his line, but like it was just, I don't know. My man headed that shit from almost the top of the box. But the other 3 were just total.
Dude, the defense is ridiculous, but if we get into it a little bit more, we'll kind of begin to understand what Peter Bosz, who I don't know what the fuck a Bosz is, but is obviously not a boss. But he set up in a 3-4-3, which had good intentions, but like, even when Pep was in Barca, he only did 3-4-3 for a little bit, because you can do it for a bit of time, but it leaves you very exposed if you're not
on the wing.
Yeah, so you have to use it for a short time, like 20-30 minutes in your game, and then you have to switch up and cover back, you know?
Yep.
So he put Pulisic and Guerrero on the wing.
Got work.
Pulisic has been shit this year.
Yep.
Let's just get to it.
It's been a step back so far, yeah.
And it would have been much better for him if he just didn't have any of the attention of being an American. If Pulisic was an actual Pulisic from fucking Slovenia or something, he would be fine.
He's the savior, man.
But he's the savior.
He's the savior. The great white hope.
But he struggled, but initially the concept is with the 2 of them playing as wingbacks and Weigl and Sahin as the midfielders in the center, they had a lot of passing, and that's why they tore them up in the first half. They were just passing Schalke left and right. It got so bad that the Schalke coach said at halftime he wanted to tell the 4th official, can we just stop at 45?
Thank God they didn't.
Thank God he shut the fuck up.
So Aubameyang had a up and down game, to say the least.
He had a day.
I mean, shout out for the assist to get Götze, because that was gorgeous cross and like a monster header, dude. I love that goal.
So Aubameyang had a nice assist, got his own goal, went into half looking good. He just came back from last league game against Stuttgart, where they lost. He was suspended due to undisclosed reasons, but rumor has it that he went to Milano to party during the week without permission. So he comes back, they're 4-0 up at half. He's got a goal and an assist, flying high. That haircut looked fresh to death, all that shit. But it don't look that good when you get yellow cards and shit. That haircut starts looking like a Muppet.
And then 7 minutes of hell.
Between the 71st and 78th minute of that game, Dortmund's not game, but their season came undone. Let's not forget, this is a derby game considered. They hate each other. While they're 4-2 up because of a couple of defensive mistakes, which, by the way, Socrates, Toprak, and Schmelzer in the fucking defense for fucking Dortmund have looked ridiculous ever since this guy came, because they are about average defenders that would do good with a good holding midfielder in front of them. Back in the day when Jurgen Klopp was there, they had like Gundogan and Sven Bender and stuff in front of them to do the work, right?
Yep.
These guys are average defenders that are super exposed, and if you look at how they're playing, and they played in front of a backup aging goalkeeper.
Yeah.
They shat the bed, but thank God there was a guy, African present, because we've all found somebody to blame. They all turned around and said, blame the black guy. No, I'm not trying to make it like that. He was a complete idiot. He should not have got sent off. But within 6 minutes, he got sent off.
Aubameyang got sent off.
And Götze has now ruptured ligament, so he's probably done for the year. And the goalkeeper that played was talking shit about how Aubameyang ruined everything. The coach blamed him. Today there are rumors that Chelsea and Liverpool are looking to make January moves for Aubameyang. So this game, 4-0 turning into 4-4, hilarious as it may be, might still have impact on the European football in January.
Absolutely. And with that, Dortmund down to 5th. They play Leverkusen next, and then Schalke up to 3rd, 5 points back of Bayern Munich, who we decided not to cover, even though they had a very uncharacteristic loss. Took a 2-1 L, so they dropped points this week. Good for everybody else. Good for anybody who's interested in having a Bundesliga race, if you care about the Bundesliga. Man of the match.
The man of the match, again, we cannot give it to Aubameyang, so...
Well, it would make this shit like the Time Man of the Year award. We could definitely give it to Aubameyang.
But,
he had the most impact on the match.
I'm going to give it to Konoplyanka for Schalke for having 2 assists, one with a corner, one with another cross, but he was tormenting them and crossing so badly that Peter Bosz made another of his stupid decisions by bringing a guy called Dan Axel Zagadou, just because he's tall, to play to defend against crosses, and the guy got beat for the last 2 goals. So, Konoplyanka, you make people make mistakes. Good job.
You make people make mistakes.
Gray zone.
Oh, shit. All right, man. That's the back 4. We're going to move on to the midfield. All right. First midfield, Champions League roundup. We are in match day 5. Big games all around. Big results all around. Important matches, man. Here we go. So
we just got done with match day.
We did. Match day 5. Match day 6 coming up. So match day 5 just got done. City beat Feyenoord 1-0. Now, this is significant because...
It's only 1-0.
It is. It's only 1-0. But Napoli won their game. And that's important to mention. They beat Shakhtar. So if City win next week and Napoli win next week, Napoli will make it. They looked on the verge of total destruction. And now they could make it.
They finally kind of got their act together regarding Europe. Like they were looking good in Italy to begin the season, and now they look like they've kind of taken their foot off the gas in Italy a little bit and decided to focus on Europe.
Let's hope it's not too late. There's a lot of teams that hope it will be too late.
Napoli coming in at 2nd place would be a scary proposition for a lot of first place teams. I agree.
Hell yeah. Until they draw Real or some shit. Anyway, total Liverpool game. Just like Klopp's old team Dortmund, they go up 3-0 on Sevilla and draw. 3-3, right? 3-0 at half.
We talked about this, except it was 1-1. So earlier,
same shit.
Yes. So basically, Liverpool has beat Maribor. Is that Maribor, right?
Yep.
They beat them once 7-0 and once 3-0. Other than that, they don't have any victories. They've tied Sevilla twice, and they've tied CSK one. And not CSK.
Spartak.
Yep.
So,
I need to get some victories, yo.
yeah, that stopped them from qualifying. They play Spartak, actually, with qualification possibly on the line. Dude, this would be like, if they don't make it, this would be like the total microcosm of their season. Like,
Yes.
oh, we're up.
Even the question of it would be a total microcosm of their season, because make
It's
it to the second round and get knocked out because you're not going to win. Like, I mean, maybe in the quarters, right?
Mhm.
Or finish third and win the Europa and make it back to the Champions League.
Yeah,
Because that is the easier route for them to go
Is it?
back.
Is it, though?
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm
Yeah.
saying they're not going to finish in the top four.
Oh, all right. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a sec. All right. Atletico Madrid, they stay alive with a 2-0 win over Red Hot Roma. They need a win and a Roma loss to qualify versus they play Chelsea next week.
Can you be red hot if you just lost 2-0?
Well, they were. They were up to that point.
It cooled them down quick.
Quick, man, quick. Chelsea just need a draw to win the group.
That has been the most fun group to watch this Champions League
It
group
has been.
stages.
Good games.
Spectacular games. Like the
Even Karabakh.
Roma, Chelsea, Roma, Atletico, like just even Karabakh.
Drawing Atletico back to back.
It's been surprises for some really good performances and some really shit performances. It's had everything.
Well, Atletico looks like they're getting a little bit of steam, so they can pull this through. They
Gotta get all the steam they got so that they don't lose Antoine Griezmann in January. People are sniffing,
Yeah, they are. He hasn't been performing up to par either.
and booing him is not how you keep him.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. But you know, Madrid. It's Madrid, man. Madrid, a little bit of entitlement going on, just a little
But
bit.
it's Atletico.
And it's true.
They're not entitled to
They're
nothing.
starting to get spoiled, man. It's like the Clippers fans and shit, man.
Basically,
We expect excellence. Anyway,
Blake Rock is like,
Basel upset you. Basel upset United 1-0, and shockingly delayed qualification for United. They face CSKA with the group on the line and possibly qualification for Moscow, who need Basel to drop points while they get the result.
yeah, Benfica being so shit this year has really helped everybody.
Yep.
They're either so shit or they dropped their fucking early games and they were like, you know what? Let's just concentrate on our league. But United need a point to guarantee first place, but they are through if they lose up to 6-0, they're still going to be good.
Yeah. Okay. So as long as they don't lose, give up 6 goals, they're basically
Yes.
through. Absolutely. A stunning, thrilling 0-0 Barcelona draw at Juve
Hearts and mouths.
to qualify. A point if Juve win by less than 7 will guarantee the group for Barca.
You just call them Juvie. They're not
did,
juvenile,
man.
dude. This
They
not
are,
400
man. They
degree.
are.
That's you calling them Juvie.
Ah, well, Sporting's still alive, huh? If Juve wants to falter, huh?
Let's look at that Bonucci defense, huh?
Oh man, Sporting plays Barcelona. Juve
Sporting going home, man.
plays Olympiacos. All right, man. PSG, Besiktas, Tottenham City all clinch their groups. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern, Chelsea all punch tickets to the knockout stage. So it's almost set.
Gareth Bale is almost back
To what?
for the next round to get booed.
Oh man, he's on that company level at this point, dude. Comes
He's a
back.
company man.
He's a company man. Comes back to get injured.
Alright.
All right, man. Enough of that. CPL. Well, CPL. Champions League UCL roundup. This is the EPL review. We are basically a third of the way of the seasons. Third of the way through the season. 13 matches in.
Yes.
This breaks down pretty simple. You got City alone at the top. You got a second bunch after that. The mid-table, which is a couple teams, and then the rest of the teams are all in relegation contention. Tell us about that. Break that down a little bit
I
further.
have them in about 6 groups. The first group is the smallest group of all. It only has Manchester City. They are
Plus 35 goals or whatever. The fuck.
37 points, 42 goals for, only 8 against. You know, just one draw, 13 games. 3.2 goals per game. They're just doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? 66% possession. So that is Group A. I don't know what we call them. The Mile High Club. Right underneath the Mile High Club, traveling by bullet train, but not catching up with them, are these 5 teams. United with 29, Chelsea 26, Arsenal with 25, Tottenham with 24, and Liverpool with 23. These teams are all 1 or 2 moves away from being...
Second place?
No, closer to Manchester City.
Yes.
One of them will finish second place because somebody has to.
Yeah.
But they're going to be a far distance. And this group, 3 of them will be the 3 other Champions League teams, and 2 will come in the Europa League. I don't think anybody's going to touch them, so that's that group. We will get back to how we think they're going to finish later. Followed by, to me, currently the most impressive group out of the table, which is a group of 2, Burnley and Watford. They come in right behind at 7 and 8.
We'll call them the odd couple.
There you go. So Burnley and Watford, with coaches, managers Son Deitch and Marco Silva. Even though Watford is on kind of a bit of a downturn right now, these are the last 2 teams that have a positive goal difference.
Yeah.
And Watford's positive goal difference is +1.
So
from here on out, everybody we're talking about will have received more goals than they have given.
And they are 2 teams that have been relegated. I mean, not relegated, but brought up from the relegated zone in the past 3-4 years or something, from Championship. I mean. Yes, we will get into a little bit about Burnley in a little bit, but yeah, they're seesaw teams. And Burnley actually in 2010 when they came up were the smallest town to ever host a Premier League team. Oh wow! We'll get back to that. Oh, pretty cool. All right, so after those 2, after the odd couple, with their guy who was the punchline of many jokes last week when there was a gif about Siri, where Neymar asked Siri who's the most entertaining Brazilian, and they said Richarlison. He plays for Watford. Oh damn! So right under them is the biggest group of all, which are a bunch of nothing teams that probably won't go down, but won't get a sniff of Europe and will rarely challenge the big team. They'll definitely, they'll be in contention. Not going forward, just because I think that the longer the season goes... Oh yeah, boom. Yes, yeah. I thought you meant. But go ahead. No, hell no. Brighton with 16, Southampton with 16, Huddersfield with 15, Leicester with 14, Bournemouth, Newcastle, and Stoke make up... Let's just call them the number fillers. Yeah. They will not go up, they will not go down, they will change positions within themselves. But these guys, whenever a big team loses or ties to these guys, that's when you start hearing about the coach maybe might get fired. Behind them are the big disappointments of the season so far: Everton, West Brom, and West Ham. These guys can make a move and clear up even past the numbers fillers group that I showed you. But the way they started off their season has just been disgusting. I don't even have a word for it other than that. This is just disgusting. It's true. Dude, Everton has boring football too. Everton spent like 200 million to have 12 points out of 13 games. West Ham spent about the same amount to get 10 points. Yeah. And West Brom have 11. And one of them just fired Pulis. The other one will probably hire a Pulis kind. Big Sam is getting close to agreeing with Everton, but they're confused because they want a long-term solution to be Marco Silva, but they want Big Sam to save them from relegation. That's the kind of fuckery that this team is run by right now, you know? I think Silva needs to, chill out and see. No. I think if he gets the opportunity, he should actually go, because Watford... The owners are very well-informed, Italian, and they know a lot of coaches out there and stuff. So if he goes on a 4-game losing streak, they will can him. They've done that every season and survived. They're fine with firing coaches. So Everton is a better scenario if you're
a manager and you want to have
I don't know,
they
man.
gave David Moyes 10 years.
I'm looking at Liverpool. That's true. That's true. Looking at Liverpool and Arsenal possibly having vacancies in the near future.
They're not going to hire him. He's going to have to do an Everton kind of job in between what he's doing now and the Liverpool and Arsenal job.
Okay. All right.
That's why I think it's a good opportunity.
Okay. Interesting.
And then the last two teams, the least two teams, the cooked teams, in my opinion, are Swansea and Palace.
Eagles and the Swans.
Yes.
Birds.
Yes, the Swans will waddle back to Wales, where they're from.
Yeah, Crystal
And
Palace.
Crystal Palace will go back to being the most irrelevant team out of London. Their fans are not rowdy like West Ham. Like they don't win anything. They're just known for being the happy fans, and they're just gonna get relegated because
I always love
they
their
run
name,
like shit.
Crystal Palace. It's a cool name though.
Crystal Palace
Yeah.
kind of annoys me because I always keep calling them Crystal City.
DC.
Yes.
DMV, baby. DMV. All right. So tell us then, man, your biggest surprise and your biggest disappointment in the Big Six, man. Anything in particular?
My biggest surprises are also kind of my biggest disappointments, actually. The most surprising things to me this season have been how terrible Everton and West Ham have been.
Yeah.
But my biggest disappointment by far is Everton. Because West Ham has a history of erratic management, and they've known to flatter to deceive. West Ham is one of the only teams that has been relegated with more than 40 points. When Joe Cole was captaining them, they got relegated with 42 points, which rarely gets relegated. But Everton had spent so much with David Klaassen and the Rooney. The next thing you know, Rooney's like banging out chicks in hotel shitters, and they just nothing's happening. And then they're such a mid team that the Premier League decided to make an example out of one of their players for diving, even though he actually did get fouled.
Our last week's recipient.
Yes, so it's just been a shit year for Everton. Most disappointing. And they fired Koeman, and it has looked atrocious since.
Very bad. Even worse.
I understand you need a new voice, but like David Unsworth was not that voice.
You gotta have a plan, dude. You gotta have a plan. You can't
The guy-
just be out here.
There was a thing on Twitter where they said, because they moved him up from under 23s, he's doing such a bad job that when they hire a full-time coach, he might lose his under 23s position. This guy, because he can't go back to his previous job from doing this so badly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Everton, most disappointing.
No doubt. I don't know.
Most surprising in a positive, I would go. I didn't think Manchester City was going to be head and shoulders this far above it.
I knew they were gonna win. I felt like they were gonna win.
I didn't
think it'd
I
be
thought
like
it would be a
Rams had.
close call between them, Chelsea, and Manchester United. If you remember on our season previews,
Yeah.
and I thought Chelsea would kind of pip them because the City would go further in Europe, but
I mean,
they've just been balling out.
they're
Which also, like, the sheer number of bad teams in the Premier League also gets exposed because, like, they're beating the shit out of this league without really going out of third gear.
yeah, like
There's
you
been
know,
very
man,
few
like,
games where they've turned on all the way.
The Huddersfield game from this past week was actually like a really, really tough match, and they had
That's
to fight
their
to
biggest
get that.
challenge so far, other than that Everton game at the beginning of the season.
There was one other one, man, where they came away with like a 1-0 that they had to really fight for. But no, you're right. For the most part,
Most competitive league in the world.
and Chelsea was a tough game as well. But no. Man City is head and shoulders above them, and even a game like Huddersfield, like it was just a matter of time.
They're scoring 3.2 goals a game in the Prem.
And the most scary and more scary is the fact that they really like this is the old City team's add-on effort, add-on like fucking grit, and you're like, holy shit.
On The Guardian, they were saying Bernardo Silva, he costs like 50 mil, right?
Son be riding the pine.
Yeah, like you forget he's even there.
He's that 82nd minute sub. the dude you can start in the EFL Cup.
Oh, while we're on the EPL section, Jurgen Klopp claiming that he was trying to move to a 5-back system and they wouldn't allow him to when they got scored on was hilarious. First of all, Adam Lallana was going to be the guy that's going to make you 5-back. Secondly, you should know how to move your players around while they're on the field for a temporary amount of time to wait for substitutions. And thirdly, just shut the fuck up.
I just for sure, man. Just as also to continue on with the review, I just want to big shout out to Huddersfield as well. They're sitting in 11th. Southampton continually being mid-table, even though they get rated every year. Brighton and reintroduce myself, Hove is sitting 9th. Like, there's a few interesting teams, that really give like very good and exciting organized efforts when you play them.
And I like, lately it's not been that good, but I really like what Rafa's doing with Newcastle. Like, to bring them up and like immediately bring them too close to the middle of the table and return Newcastle to where they have historically been.
A relegation fight?
No, like...
Oh, mid-table.
To come up... The situation he took was a fucking joke. And
Absolutely.
To bring them up and not to be where Crystal Palace is right now with an owner that hasn't reinforced the team from the championship year is hugely impressive to me.
Absolutely. I'd also actually like to shout out, man, I think my biggest disappointment at the top of the table, man, is actually Tottenham. They haven't had the greatest league form. Poch has been outdueled in both, major matchups with other coaches. Mu and Arseni's been basically beaten by them and their tactics. They're sitting 5th right now, and as we currently speak, they're about to drop points to Leicester City. So, I mean,
they're 2 points out of third. I can't say that I'm too disappointed because I expect that from Tottenham. Like, I was expecting them to be somewhere between 4 and 6. They're about 5. But I can't consider it a disappointment.
But it is to me, because I just always feel like it's time for Arsenal to implode. It's time for the whole team to give up.
I always tell you, it's just Tottenham.
I know.
You don't want to listen.
Tottenham lads. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I mean, Liverpool's doing exactly what I expected. Arsenal's a mild surprise because they actually fought back from their early season woes. And everything else is about going according to plan as far as the Big Six is concerned, in my opinion.
If the league was played for securing 4th place, Arsenal is very good at it. People think that because Arsenal don't win championships, therefore they're a shit team. They have occupied that gap very well. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So we take them for granted. But Tottenham's situation, I don't think is actually on the rise because they have a lot of underpaid players that they're not gonna upgrade. I think Toby Alderweireld is going to be gone pretty soon. Danny Rose is definitely leaving.
And let me also, I definitely gave Sanchez props last week, man. He got beasted on that goal this past weekend, dude. Dude just shoved him off.
They've been off as a whole, as a team.
They have been. Yeah. They have been, and it's showing. As I said, man, they are.
But 5th place, I think most. That's why I can't consider it a disappointment because most Tottenham the fans and whatever. At the beginning of the season, if you were to tell them right now, they'd be in 5th, 2 points out of 3rd. Actually, no, they just dropped another 3 points because they lost 2-1.
They just dropped to Leicester. Tough.
Leicester, as I pronounce it.
That's tough, man. All right,
Jamie Vardy's having a party. Bring your vodka, bring your Charlie.
Woo! All right, man. EPL review. We're going to make that as we get into this holiday season and all these games. About a third of the season is played over the month of December in EPL.
So who do you think is going to win the Premier League?
Who do you think?
Watford.
Okay, Watford.
I mean, why not? I mean, it's clearly City.
You still got your... Oh, okay, you finally changed up from Chelsea. Yeah, City. City has the lead. Give me your rest of your top 4.
The rest of the top 4 as it stands.
Okay. Arsenal. No Tottenham. Tottenham's out.
Yeah, I'm actually considering Liverpool over Tottenham. I wasn't looking at Tottenham.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think Liverpool finishes 5th and Tottenham 6th.
I still got, as it stands, replace. I still have faith in Tottenham for 4th. Fuck Arsenal, man. They're gonna fall out. They're gonna fall apart.
So you got United and Chelsea 2 and 3.
Yes. Yep.
So, fair enough.
Actually, man, I'd like to say over the long term, I probably have more. I'll probably reverse that. Actually, I probably have Chelsea too.
Yeah, I can see that too. They don't really matter because you're not winning and you're not going to qualifiers. So 2 and 3 right now in the league is. I don't pay too much attention to how they're gonna finish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, yeah, and relegation. I think we talked about that last week, man. Let's not revisit that.
Brom, Swansea, and Palace.
Okay, I'd like to suggest a little follow off. Somebody like Bournemouth slips in. I could definitely see West Brom falling down too, or even Newcastle again.
You see, the thing is, Swansea and Palace have 9 and 8 points. So for Newcastle to drop there, it's not just the points; it's a lot of teams in between them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, four points are
so relegation. There's really one, unless Swansea and Crystal Palace go on like some nice runs, which I don't see coming. There's one relegation place left.
I would have to say though, over the past 3 weeks, that Crystal Palace is trending up and Newcastle's trending down. You know what I'm saying? So that happens, you know.
Okay. Then what would your 3 be?
Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace. Like I said, I'm gonna throw like Bournemouth in there, and then West Brom. And Swansea sneaks out.
Oh wow! Even though Swansea is 1 point ahead of Crystal Palace, I think that Crystal Palace has the better team out of the two, and if somebody gets them right, they have a higher chance of climbing over Swansea, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we got 25 games to see. So, yay. Most of this is played. Over a third of the season is played over December, like I was saying. We're going to cover that every week, at least going forward for the near future. EPL review. Done. But I really want to talk about this because I always like the way we spotlight teams that aren't really like the big six because they get enough pub. We've covered Valencia, we covered Lyon, I believe, we covered some other interesting teams. But this week is going to be Burnley, who currently sit 7th, who could have jumped as high as 4th with the win in Arsenal. Very tough loss. They lost in the 4th minute on a penalty.
Yeah. A penalty that was an actual penalty, but people still complained about because it didn't feel like it should be a penalty because Burnley tried so hard.
That's so hard, but you shove somebody in the back. Shove somebody in the back, homie.
Especially you shove one of those fruity London boys. They're known for diving. Like, even without you doing that.
Who was it that went to ground?
Wales boy.
Ramzinho, yeah.
But he was right in doing it. Like, you gotta get your points. If he's not supposed to touch you, then don't get touched.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was a penalty. So almost blocked too. But tell us a little bit about Burnley, man.
So Burnley is an old team from whatever. They're from Lancashire, but their stadium is Turf Moor, and for the longest, they were just an irrelevant team. In the 80s, they were in the 4th division of English football.
Like middle school, like high school league or something.
Basically, that's like college, junior college basketball.
Yeah. All right. Division 3. Gotcha. FIFA.
Anyways, so in between 2000 and 2009, they had a bit of a revolution. They had a bunch of young coaches coming. Chris Waddle did some work there, and legend in the championship, Ian Holloway, brought them up, and when they did, they were known more as an anomaly because when they came back in 2009 to the Premier League, they became the smallest town to ever host a Premier League team. They have like less than 40,000 people living in. But they come up, they go down immediately. The fans hate the owners who like just wanna bilk as much money from the team as possible, but they hire decent coaches so that they can stay in the Premier League long enough to do so.
Yeah.
So there's that little dynamic, but after Ian Holloway brought them back, they basically tried to sell as much as possible and then get that relegation money. So they're basically siphoning a shitload of money outside of the team. So the fans hate them, but the team is doing good. You feel me?
Yeah.
Now,
interesting.
In 2012, they hired Sean Dyche, which is a Scottish lesbian. Dyche. Anyway, sorry,
Picture.
I'm joking. He comes, and by the time he comes around, and in 2016 he brings them up again. This time with intentions to just fucking stay, you know. And he plays a very rudimentary, old school English championship style, tough defensive, you know. He played under Brian Clough, the legendary Nottingham Forest manager who won the Champions back in the days. It used to be called the Champions Cup before it became the Champions League. He played for him in his later days, and he picked up certain things, which is he explains complex football concepts to his players in a very simple way and gets them to execute, you know.
Okay.
And that is great because he's running a small budget team. His defense against Arsenal cost less than $8 million. His whole team cost less than £60 million.
Wow.
His starting 11.
That's amazing.
And like this story of Burnley is the story of Sean Dyche.
Okay.
And he said, check this out, this is a cool ass quote. He said, Conte got commended for bringing hard, fast, new leadership to Chelsea, which involved 800-meter runs, 400-meter runs, 200-meter runs to get them in fitness, right? Said, come to my training and see me do the same thing, and you'd say, look at that young English dinosaur. He has no clue.
Yes. The media has their narratives they love.
But their defense is amazing. They came into the weekend with the third best defense in the league, man. Only the two Manchester teams have allowed less against them.
I recognize very few names on the roster.
You don't know Sam Vokes?
What? Vox?
Chris Wood? And even their names are like very like Robinson and Johnson kind of thing. Like
Gudmundsson.
Yeah,
Gudmundsson.
Gudmundsson is you remember him from the Icelandic club also.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is not a sexually transmitted disease. It's a celebration.
Icelandic club. Gudmundsson. I got some Gudmundsson.
Oh yeah, yesterday after happy hour, I got some Gudmundsson in the back of the car.
Yes, Burnley. Let's go.
Yeah, very exciting team. Just a big shout to Sean Dyche. I don't know how long he'll be there, but
Hey,
while he's there, he's doing big things, you know?
yeah, man. Surprising squad, man, this year, especially, and they've been a tough out no matter what for a few years.
Yeah.
I believe they gave it to City a couple times. Gave City.
It was
some
at a
good
time
wins.
were City hated guys that concentrated.
They concentrated
And were physical. that wasn't what City was about at that time.
Nah, nah.
It's before they brought their steamroller.
Yee. We've got Guardiola. Let's go. Forward section. Let's go. All right, awards. All right, speaking of City, Manchester, we got Dude of the Week coming in as
The dream. It was all a dream.
Raheem.
I used to
I
read
don't know if
City
we've given him this
magazine.
award already, but we've given it to a few
I'm sure we've given it to him before, but
City players. But man, when you're doing
when
what
you
they're doing,
score the winning goal in a Champions League game, and then you come back and you score the winning goal in a league game,
and get the penalty.
you get a fucking badass penalty and another penalty that didn't get called.
Yeah.
You are the pint-sized dude of the week.
Yeah, man. He's been a pleasure this year, really, man. He really has. Even though he still exhibits the same issues, whatever.
I still don't understand the abdomen control. Like when he gets the ball and he just like lets it. I'm like, why don't you just use your chest or something normal? Like, why does it have to hit your kidney?
It's true, dude. He does stick it out like that. Like, anyway, man. So yeah, we're gonna review a little something we touched earlier. Our twat happened moment of the week goes to.
Well, there's many twatifications happening, but Aubameyang had a busy week. He was suspended for unknown reasons, most probably partying without permission. And he came back, did his thing for about 60 minutes, and then ended up being the scapegoat in one of the most embarrassing draws ever.
Terrible challenge too.
Yes.
I read.
And also, thirdly, that haircut.
Always a
That's what
red card
happens.
for that. Always a red card, son. Word. Goal of the week goes to...
Well, I ain't.
But I ain't. Beautiful chip.
Did his thing.
Was it a cross? Was it a pat? Was it a shot? Doesn't matter. It
The
went
Men
right
in
back to the
Blazers show
goal.
they called that a shas.
A shot.
A shas.
A shot.
Yes, half
Shas.
shot, half pass. It's a shas.
No doubt. Willian, shout out. Big goal. Saved yourself 2 points. Our Troy Deeney Award.
Goes to
Yeah.
Mr. Guardiola. We got
Yeah. Read that quote for us, man. What did he say?
on discussing the ungiven penalty. He was like, yes, we had everybody complains about our diving, but it was clear to everybody. Even Wenger would admit that that was a penalty. He said even Arsene would admit that it was a
Oh, man. Burn for real.
penalty. Pep brought the big guns. It's fantastic.
Yay. Troy Deeney Award of the Week. All right, man. Huge news for Barca fans over here. We just wanted to give shout out to the shitty board, our boy Bart. Fuck you, Bart. But hey, you got Messi signed, dude. Thank you so much.
You saw why it took longer, right?
No, why?
They had reached pretty close to an agreement right before the Neymar situation
Summer,
happened.
yeah.
So they had their agreement, which I don't know why, had Messi's new buyout as being 300 million euros. And then when they paid 200 something for Neymar, they were like, grab that paper real quick before he signs it. Give that shit. And they're like, they wrote a 7 over the 3. They're like,
7 over the 3.
they're like, what's this? They're like, oh shit, we gotta go to Kinko's. That's what took so long.
Yo, but thank you, Messi. Will hopefully end his
Fucking
career
finally.
in Barca. I mean, that
the
just
fucking league president is like, yes, he signed.
it brings a little bit of stability, man. This is a dude who doesn't play when he says it's okay. Like that's cool, coach. I'll sit out the first half of this game.
When the guy has more goals than most clubs have in their history, make sure you sign him.
Make sure you sign.
Not just in the league or something. Like there are clubs that don't have 523 goals scored plus 200 assists provided. Like teams don't have this.
Pickup artists don't have that.
Will Chamberlain's the only person that had this kind of line. But he didn't have no assists.
No assists. Oh man. Damn. Yeah, Messi. Check our Twitter, man, at Diving for Glory for a couple of best of Messi moments. Like, and if you've never, just fucking Google best Messi goals and sit back and, you know, partake in something that you love to partake in.
Whoever this
enjoy.
hermit is you're telling to do these things to,
Hey man,
we will post some videos for you on Diving
If you're-
for Glory, just in case if you haven't already been
If you're
Googling the
over-
shit out of Messi.
if you're over 35, dude, like Googling shit doesn't really like, oh, I forgot I could Google that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it took me a while to do it. You'd be surprised.
It's okay, people. Diving for Glory provides these services. We will Google and post it for you.
Yay! Check them out, man. So dope. All right, man. Upcoming games. Got a pretty big slate coming up. We got Champions League Day 6, but first, the club games to watch this week are starting Italy for Friday match. Juve away to Napoli.
That
Huge
should
game.
be humdinger.
Yay!
Very excited to watch it. Juve, Higuain has been hurt, but I think he should just be gone and they should just move on and play. But Napoli looks exciting. I hope Napoli takes the point.
Napoli sitting in first. Juve in
Home game, if those fans get crazy, I will go with 2-1 Napoli.
2-1 Napoli. Ooh, further down, Juventus. All right. Big game in EPL. Arsenal at home against Manchester United. Arsene and Mu reunited.
Yes, as I wish it would never happen. Such a tried and tedious rivalry. Mourinho is way better than him in this rivalry, and right now it's probably gonna be a game where Arsenal has more possession and Manchester United wins it 1-0.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but I think there's a potential for some excitement here, man.
I hope that Arsenal scores early so that we can see a game.
Exactly.
But if Manchester scores early, then
it's away too. Like they'll be sitting back.
Yeah, man. Find something else to do.
We know that. Yeah. Athletic Bilbao Baggins versus Real Madrid.
The only team whose fans may hate Madrid more than Barca are Athletic Bilbao in the Basque.
Why? Because they're
Basque separatists and they don't play anybody that's not born out of the Basque region on their team.
Okay.
And
so they hate Real.
Their religious belief is hating.
They hate
Real.
the Kang. They hate the Kang. Gotcha. All right. Barcelona at home versus Celta Vigo. Leverkusen BVB 5th versus 6th place.
Okay. In a one team league.
Hey man, it's like the best teams in the league.
The
man.
BVB is just stopping at 5th, man. They're going.
Well, they lose this game, they'll be 6th.
I'm telling you, I don't know. They might even be further. They're trying to get to double digits, homie.
And how long does Bosch keep this job, man? Damn.
It might not be on the job this weekend.
Oh, well, we'll have a section about that if it's so.
The longer he's on the job, the more likely the president is going to get fired.
Yay. All right, so Champions League coming up, match day 6, big games all around. Bayern PSG, not really like for anything except that it's Bayern versus PSG.
I wish that game had happened on match day 5 so we could just enjoy it because there's so much actual mattering games that we won't really get to enjoy that game as much.
Exactly. But the other big game be Chelsea Atletico. Chelsea going for the group win. Atletico looking to stay alive and hope for a Roma loss.
Yes. The way the group went, I would rather have Roma advance than Atletico, but in the knockout stages, I think that Atletico could do more damage, so
absolutely.
I think it all worked out. I think Roma can have a good Europa League campaign and maybe even win it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we got some other key games going on. We got Red Bull versus Besiktas and Porto versus Monaco. They're all in the same group. RB and Porto are sitting on similar points, 7 and 7. So they will basically be playing to see who goes. Besiktas has already won that. Monaco's dead.
Dude, when Red Bull's first game against Besiktas, the fucking fans were so loud that the fucking Red Bull player asked to be taken off because he's a bitch.
Yep.
So I hope they get that.
They get dealt with. They play
a football
Besiktas.
player that doesn't like to play in front of sound?
Yeah, you got a problem, man.
Join the ballet.
So, Liverpool playing Spartak and Sevilla playing Maribor. So Sevilla is second place, 8 points. Liverpool at the top with 9. Spartak could sneak that.
Yeah, I mean, the tie masters that are Liverpool, I think the tie would get them through.
Yeah, tie would get them through. They fuck around and lose that game, they're going to have a problem.
If they just keep doing what they've been doing this season in the Champions League, then they'll go through. But if Spartak, this has been actually a shit Spartak team this year, but if they get one of those Clavan bounces or a Moreno tackle or something, then they might knock them out.
Yeah. That would be incredible if it happened.
You cannot be confident of anything with that defense.
It's true. True. Manchester City at Shakhtar. Manchester City already has won the group, but this is important because Napoli, as I mentioned earlier, needs to beat Feyenoord and hope that City win. And you would think that this is Pep. He's going to go for the win. Doesn't matter. They're undefeated for the whole season. Why wouldn't you continue to try? But we'll see.
I think he'll try, and I think they'll do good, but it has to be said, Shakhtar, they're in it at the last game at home.
Yeah.
Like, even if you play a good team, you might not match their intensity, so...
Yeah, all they need is a point. All Shakhtar needs is a point to go through.
Napoli just started playing the Champions League 2 games too late.
Yep. So, other than that, I think that's our big matches. And I think that would be the motherfucking match whistle. That's a hell of a match. Got down in the trenches.
We're done with the show,
Stole glory at the last kick. Chill. Man, don't forget, Diving for Glory posts every Tuesday on iTunes. And
We got
Diving for
outros
Glory
too now.
Follow us at divingforglory.com, man. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Diving for Glory, FOR, hashtag Diving for Glory. Like us, tag us, add us. Bring your opinions off the field.
Yes,
Straight to
follow
our
us on
grill.
the street. Everybody, just follow me.
Of course,
Follow me,
Yola.
follow me, follow me.
Don't follow him around. Like, follow him.
Fuck me.
Sir Solomon, we out.
Peace.
One.
Diving. 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 Diving.
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving.